Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this month my channel will be 10 years old. I cannot believe it. I have been doing this for 10 years, which is crazy to me, but I could not have been doing it for all of this time had it not been for you guys rooting me on all the way, even going back to the King community audience. So when I thought about how I wanted to celebrate my 10-year anniversary, I just kept coming back to the fact that a lot of you over the years have asked me, how do you shoot your videos? What types of cameras do you use? So I thought I would just package all of that advice into one big celebratory video. Brace yourself, I'm sure it's going to be a long one, along with my top tips for being a food creator in 2022. So if any of you have been thinking about wanting to start your own channels or even just wanting to be a food creator in general, this is the video for you. All right, rolling. Okay, I dropped my kids off at school and then it's time to hit the kitchen. It sort of reminds me of when you're having guests over and you know they're arriving quickly and you sort of do a mad clean. That's what I do to my kitchen every week because I know you guys are coming over. I gotta clean it up. Okay, I've got my demo cutting board. My background is cleaned up. There's no dishes in the sink. I got my paper towels. All my tools are put away. I've got my pan that I'm going to be using. And then I like to have a cutting board here too because this is where I stage all my ingredients. It's out of frame, but it's right there when I need it. And then I've got my dining table all ready. This is usually where I do my hero shots. So I wanna make sure there's no homework or breakfast dishes or anything on there. So now the next thing I need to do before I bring in all of my camera equipment is get rid of my trash bags, get rid of George's bowl because I need room for my tripods, and get rid of all these chairs because once I start to shoot here, I don't want these chairs in the background. Sorry, George. There, now I have this nice clean area to put all of my camera equipment. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that I made starting is when I was trying to light things, I would just point it right at what I was trying to light. And that's just so harsh. That just, it's never gonna look good. I find the easiest thing to do is bounce it off something so that the light sort of trickles down and sort of fills in the area. So I put it right here in the corner and I bounce it up on the ceiling. See, and then the diffusion just fits onto this little hood with Velcro, which makes it real easy. So for those of you that are new to my channel, there's a great video you can watch. It's my Q&A video that basically talks about how I actually started my channel. And when I started, I was lucky enough to have a crew. It was the King community crew. They would come, they would shoot my videos. I had a team of 5 people. It was really luxurious, let me tell you. But then through some twists and turns, I had to actually learn how to shoot my own videos. So I did that. I learned how to do the editing, all while growing my channel so that I could actually hire the crew back. And this was probably, in hindsight, my first mistake. I think my biggest piece of advice is start small. Learn how to do it yourself because then it's always going to be sustainable. If you end up having to pay people right out of the gate, A, you don't learn the skills that are really important to learn, and B, it's a ton of money. Video production is expensive, and it can take a long time for your channel to earn enough money to actually pay that. So that light is really just for the atmosphere and just to make sure that everything feels a little bit even. Then I also need a light on me because as you can see, this is kind of far from where I'm gonna be, which is right here. See how my face feels kind of dark, like there's shadowy? I need to fix that with a ring light. And I typically put it right kind of near or behind where my camera is gonna go. See, and it's on a dimmer here, and once I get the cameras in place, I'll sort of play around with that, but at least it's plugged in. And I find when you have 2 lights that are far apart like that, you really need an extension cord. So luckily I had a plug right here. The lights are ready. Now it's time for the cameras. Okay, this is the camera that I'm gonna look into. This is what's called the A cam. So the A cam is basically the Talon camera. This is the camera that you're gonna talk into. The B cam is gonna go here, and that's what I use for my food. I have found that this A cam typically looks better when it's framed at an angle. So see, pretend this is the angle. A little bit like that, rather than head on. Because head on can look really flat, especially since it's all white. It can look really flat really quick. All right, so I have the 2 tripods set. I typically put the light sort of nestled in. It's kind of a bit of a leggy jungle, but that seems to be how it works. I will mess with the level of the tripod once I put the cameras in place, but at least the cameras have someplace to go. This is always my tip. Get the tripod set up first and then pop your cameras on. Okay, let's talk about gear. It can be really tempting to spend a lot of money on camera equipment. And believe me, there is no shortage of expensive gear out there and people willing to sell it to you. I started small, and as my channel grew, and as I could afford it, I would add more things to the kit. I also think there's something to be said about befriending your local camera shop. So there's a local mom and pop shop here in my neighborhood, and I love them because anytime I have a question or I want to buy something and I need to know more about it, they're super knowledgeable. And a lot of these camera stores will rent gear as well as buy back gear. And that has really been my secret to success, to upgrade to better and better equipment. When I want something new, I will go and trade in what I have for something better and then pay the difference. And it's so much cheaper than having to just buy it all new. When it comes to batteries, always have a backup. I think when you're starting out, 4 batteries is great. 2 that you put on charge as you're setting up to make sure they're fully charged, and 2 that are charging while you're shooting, so that if you run out, you don't have to stop down to charge the batteries. You actually have 2 that are ready to go. These are really great for video. They're great for 2 reasons. One, they have the little monitor here that snaps out, that prevents me from having to set up external monitors, which is what I was doing before. And that's a whole other setup. They take batteries, there's more wires. It just became too cumbersome. So I really love the compact nature of this. I also find these cameras look a little bit crisper to me. They're easier to use. And so much of my issues sometimes with shooting my food photography over the years has been operator error. So anything that makes it quicker and easier, I am all for. And I just love how small they are. So these are my new favorite cameras. If you want to learn more about these cameras, I discovered this awesome YouTube channel. There's a gentleman by the name of Jason Herman, and he describes setting up this camera like nobody's business. He totally helped me. I was in a panic. I didn't know what to do. And I watched this video several times, and he got me up to speed. I will leave you a link in the description. Then the next thing I do is I put on my lenses. So I love these 2 lenses. They are expensive, I will warn you. I saved up for them, I traded in gear, and I finally got the 2 lenses I want. And the ones that I am working with are the Sony 24-70. I find that this is the most serviceable lens. Anything that's 24-70 is just so great because you just have a lot more latitude for shooting things. And then I have a Sigma lens that I use for me. I don't know, I really love this lens. It's another 24-70. I just think it looks really crisp, so I use this on me. Now, here is my tip. These little caps can be very hard to find at the end of the day. So this is why I use my little tray here. The tray keeps everything important in one place. So my cards, I put the batteries on here, and anytime I'm taking these caps off, I leave them right on the tray. That way I don't have to go searching through bags and things like that when I'm ready to kind of wrap up or change lenses, and you've got this exposed open lens. You don't want to put that down on a table. You want to make sure that that is covered just so no dust and whatnot gets in it. So I love my little tray. Anything important goes on the tray. Then the other thing I like to get going at this stage is my audio. I'm actually going to mic myself so that you can hear me with better audio as we're playing with this. I really love the Zoom field recorder. It comes in this cute little kit. I think that bad video is more forgiving than bad audio. I think that bad audio, it's hard to listen to. It hurts the ears. And you can tell the difference when we go back and forth between my iPhone, which doesn't really have great audio, and it's picking up all of this atmosphere, versus like this, being mic'd with a wireless mic. Doesn't this sound so much better? You just don't get all of that tinny atmosphere because it's directional audio and it's just picking up the sound of my voice. And I just think it will add a certain level of professionalism to your videos. And it's also really easy to use, which was super important for me. See, and then it has a little card, and the card fits in this recorder, and it's going to record all of my audio. And then when it comes time to edit, I sync the camera with me talking with this little card. You sync the 2 clips in your edit program, and it'll sync the audio and make it sound so much better than the camera mic. And then I do like to tape the microphone under my shirt, so I use something that's not too clingy. I never like to see the microphone. I know, that's just me. There are a lot of YouTubers where they see the microphone and it's fine. So I would just say whatever's easier for you, do that. So I use this tape. This is medical grade tape, you know, like the kind that they tape if you get like blood drawn, but it works really good on the skin. So when you have to tape it to your skin, it's not gonna hurt and it stays on. Okay, excuse me for a minute, but it's gonna go under my shirt, taped about right here. It's perfect. There. And you might wanna check it just to make sure it doesn't slide down, but that usually should be okay for one food demo. Now, here is the thing to know. And I made a spectacular snafu one time. See right here where it says line in, and then there's a little thing with the headphones. You wanna make sure that this goes into line in, not the headphones. That is if you had headphones and you wanted to kind of listen to it. The problem is if you put it on the headphones, which is I did that one time, I recorded the entire video with no audio. I will never do that again. So sometimes the bad mistakes are the good mistakes because they teach you. So to never be afraid of a mistake. You will make them, but if it's a teachable moment, you'll be grateful. So there we go. Okay, and then this is gonna go in my pocket. See, just like this. Goes in the pocket. Okay, good to go. Testing, testing, okay. So you can see those numbers are moving. That means it's rolling. Always good to test that the numbers are moving. The other thing I like to do is put this little switch on hold. That means if it's rolling and by accident, if you hit this little button, it's not gonna cut it. See, it says hold. That's just a nice little safety mechanism. Okay, I got both cameras set up. I've got my lights set up. I've got my food in my scene. I've got my audio on. I am ready to go. The only thing I need to do is set up my ingredients and probably powder my nose. Get ready. That's rolling. Make sure your audio is rolling. I'm gonna turn that on. Just one of my biggest pieces of advice is get everything rolling at the same time. If something cuts, a camera or audio, everything cuts. It's just gonna make your editing so much easier. Because then clip 1 with the cameras is always gonna match the audio clip 1. If you cut the cameras and don't cut the audio, or cut the audio and don't cut the cameras, your editing will be a nightmare. So just one for all for one. If you cut everybody. Okay, so let me just show you how big of a difference the light makes. So see, I have the ring light on now, and see how it's sort of filling my face? Watch what happens when I turn it off. See how much darker that is? It's more natural looking. I love the look of the natural light, but it will not stay this way. It's just better to have a little bit of a fill. And then this light, if I get rid of the big one in the corner, this is what happens. See, now we're really dark and gloomy. I don't know. I go back and forth. Sometimes I think this looks really nice and natural. I don't know. Should we shoot it this way? And other times I just know that this is just, I'm looking in the monitor, which is why I'm not looking to you, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes it doesn't look that great. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Should we go totally au naturel like this? Or should we give it a little bit of light? Here we go. Okay, see, this is what happens. I'm about to roll. I hear my husband at the front door. Yes.
It's me.
Yes. What do you need?
I'm just making this here. I'm blind.
See, now I'm too bright. See, this is what happens. I think
That's
it's too
not
bright.
What do you mean it's white?
Well, I don't have my glasses on. I can't really see. Does that look too bright? It looks a little bright.
No.
Maybe I'll...
No, maybe it's me with my white t-shirt.
But see, my glasses, I can't see that far. This is why.
No.
I know, it's really bad. I don't know. It looks a little... It looks toasty. Is it too toasty?
You look good.
All right, fine. Here we go, finally. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to make a really delicious dessert idea for the fall. It is my bread pudding. See, now I lost my train of thought. I got to do it again. Being on camera is a learned skill. People will just wake up one day and end up being great on camera. It's something you do have to learn. And it is nerve-wracking to sit in a chair and look at a lens and pretend that's a person. But what I did in the early days is I just thought of my sister. So I would talk to her a lot, and we both love to cook, and we exchange recipes all the time. And I would explain the recipe like I was talking to her on the phone, because I couldn't see her on the phone, but I knew what I wanted to say. And so I would just pretend like I was talking to her on the phone while looking at the lens. It was completely awkward, and when I look at my first few videos, it is completely awkward, but I did get better at it. And if you have a YouTuber that you admire and they look like they're doing it so effortlessly, go to their video tab on their channel and scroll all the way down. You may have to go through a few pages and find their first video. And compare that with their most recent upload, and you will see the difference. And you will also see all of the hard work that probably went into getting to that level and how many years it took. So don't be hard on yourself if it isn't easy right off the bat. I'm not a big fan of scripts or cue cards or anything like that. I think that that just trips you up, it makes you more nervous, and it's not gonna come off very natural. YouTube is such a human platform. It's not like television where you're speaking to an audience. When you're talking on YouTube, you wanna have the ability to speak to that one person. That's what I think is really great about YouTube. You feel like maybe you're in the kitchen with that person, they're having a conversation with you, and they're teaching you how to make something. And I find that scripts or cue cards sort of take you back into, oh, I'm speaking to an audience and I need to really project, and then you kind of lose your humanness. And that is the most vulnerable part about being on camera, is sharing your humanness. And I think when you finally get to the point where you realize not everybody is going to like you, and that is okay. Not everybody likes me. I'm quirky. I have a different personality. I see the world in a certain way, and you will have your way of seeing the world. But I think if you can get to a vulnerable place where you're not trying to be like some other person, you're just really being you, and that takes a lot of courage. And so it is scary to get out there and sort of show people who you are, but A, I think it's easier, and B, I think you'll be more successful because humans want to watch other humans. They don't want to watch robots. And see, I really love these cameras because you see how that's out of focus? What I can do is touch the actual screen and it'll get into focus, see? If you do any movement, this is what you do. You sway. All right, so I'm gonna get this all like locked up here, and then watch, I'm just gonna sway. It just gives you a little bit of movement without having to be like a perfect. See, if I try to move the camera, it just gets a little shaky. You know, creating a food video, it's two parts. It's the shooting the video and the editing a video. And a lot of times people kind of want to farm that out. But I say just, again, try to do all of it yourself because being the editor will make you a better shooter. I realized when I started shooting myself that I had a lot of these shots that felt really repetitive. And I just kept thinking, oh, if I had a different angle, or oh, if I grabbed my camera and did handheld at this part, that would just make for a better sequence. I think you can watch a video and feel like, oh, this looks flat. I don't know why this feels boring. But I think unless you're in the weeds in the footage and you're actually piecing it together, you get that aha moment a lot quicker. All right, now we are gonna create the custard for our bread pudding. So for that, you're gonna use 6 eggs. So every recipe has a certain amount of steps, and within those steps, there are breakpoints, and that actually is a great guide for how you wanna set up all of your different setups. And see what it looks like in the monitor. It might be tempting to set up the cameras, lock them off, and just go for it, but different ingredients are different sizes. So when you think about the framing, it's not really one size fits all. Every time you change the ingredients, you have to kind of change the framing and reorient the camera. So see, I have like all this dead space here, so I'm probably just gonna punch in on this. And then you really wanna make sure the bowl is in focus. So I'm gonna maybe bring that bowl a bit further in, because the camera will kind of adjust to what's in the foreground. And if this is in the foreground, this will be in focus, not the bowl. I also, in the old days, I used to have a culinary assistant, which was really fabulous. And this would be a person who would be just hanging out kind of in the corner here, bringing me the sponge, bringing me the ingredients, wiping down the cutting board. And let me tell you, those were the days. But those were also the days I was shooting 5 a day, 5 recipes a day. I was switching shirts and just do 5 a day, and then I'd have like a month and 1 week worth of content. This, the way I'm doing it now, I only get 1 recipe a day. I tried last week to do 2, but when you look at that cookie video, it doesn't look right because the light was going and it's sort of overly lit. So 1 a day is really all I can do when I'm doing it myself. I'd rather do it well than try to do too much, you know? Because you're like stuck with these videos for the lifetime of the channel. So it's like forever. You might as well just get it right. But see, now I just framed my camera for this little scene here, but now my croissants are done. This is kind of the challenge of cooking videos. I didn't want to leave it in the oven, but I got to take it out, but I might as well show people because now I have it. So I'm going to do something like this. Our croissants are done. They are looking all nice and toasty, so I am just going to set these aside while I get to work on the raisins. So I'm basically cheating and using my A cam as sort of like coverage, just because I don't want to walk around and reset the camera again. I would be back and forth. And I think it's okay. I think it works sometimes to use your A cam for something like this that you don't need to see a ton of detail on, but you just need to know it was done. Now, another thing that's handy to have is a step stool, especially when you want those kind of overhead shots. It really helps. So I really like this little guy because it's small and you can just tuck it in the garage. And I'm gonna set it right here so I can get a nice overhead shot of my bread pudding. Okay, now we're gonna get our focus. There we go. And sometimes the best shots can be what you're seeing in the scene. So a lot of times we look at video and we think, okay, we're gonna set up the camera just like this, or we're gonna just film everything we see. But I think in cooking videos, it's really interesting to see, what does the cook see? What's the overhead shot? What's the POV? That can add a lot of depth to cooking videos and make you feel like you're actually right there with whoever is doing the cooking. All right, so now I have a wide shot for my B cam, which I like to kind of have an establishing shot where you see the custard, you see what I'm doing, just to set up what's happening. So I'll have this framing for maybe half of putting the custard in, then I'll reframe to something tighter for the second half. And that way I can just cut from one to the other and it'll make for a more interesting sequence. I do want to show you something super fun, okay? Because this is the perfect place to use it. This guy. This is a little tabletop pedestal. See how cute this is? This is also by Vanguard, and I love it because I could just get my B-roll shot to see an overhead shot of what's happening here. See, and then that really puts you in the driver's seat of the cook. I find that that's just such a great way to shoot food photography videos, is to make the viewer feel like they're kind of making it themselves. And what better way than to get this angle, right? Here we go. Here's our fancy shot. Just continue to pour the batter over the croissants until all of the batter has been used up. I think we got enough of the tight shot. Let's bring it back a bit and get a real wide, long shot. I'm a sucker for food photography that gives you a sense of place, that makes you feel like you're in somebody's home. I think there's something really cozy and welcoming and warm about that. So I like to take the time to do like this little shot here where you can see the table, a little bit of the bowl. It just feels like you might be in this kitchen with me. And I think there's something really comforting about that. Okay, it's gone into the oven. Now what do? I've got 45 minutes. I'm losing my light. If I'm running out of light like this, I will actually shoot the close because I don't actually need the finished piece because you don't see my hands, you don't see the scene. And then when I edit, it'll all kind of match just because it might be really dark by the time I do the close. And I'm telling you, you will have one fantastic cold weather dessert. And if you would like to be the first to know when my videos post, subscribe to my newsletter. The link is below, and that way you'll never miss a video. All right, you guys, I'll see you back here next time. Until then, bye. So on YouTube, there's always a lot of focus about subscribers. You know, how many subscribers do you have? How many subscribers are you adding? How many subscribers are you losing? Everybody adds and loses. So don't be afraid if you wake up one morning and suddenly you have lost 50 subscribers. It happens to me too. It happens to everybody. I actually think the bigger value is to have viewers subscribe to your newsletter. And the reason is that the algorithm on YouTube is constantly changing. As you grow as a food creator, you may not only just be on YouTube. There could be platforms that launch in the future. You may have a blog, you may have a cookbook, you may have products. There might be things you want to promote. And if there's some switch in the algorithm, those people will still be getting your update. I always get a lot of comments sometimes that say, Beth, where have you been? I haven't seen your videos. I'm like, I've been here. And a lot of that is usually just the algorithm switching things up. So if you can send your newest video in an email to somebody, then they're always going to be assured that they'll get your latest video. I like to have this table as close as possible, especially at this time of day, to the light, because it's just so dark out here. It's just better if I'm kind of like here, and you won't see all of that because I'm using a lens that is going to give you a nice shallow depth of field. Okay, so here, I will put you right here so you can see what I'm doing. Trim it. I'm gonna put the pot and pan on. I need my powdered sugar. So that's probably gonna go off there. I need a serving piece. So we'll go in here, get something gritty. Let's see, I don't know. Ooh, that's pretty. I think I'll use that. I just think things with texture end up looking better in photography. I typically sometimes would just use this, but I think for the photo, this isn't as pretty, I think, as that. So, okay, put that around the handle. And now I need some plates. All right, so I'm either gonna use this bowl, because it's like ice cream and white bread, or I'm gonna use this. It has a little texture texture on it. Even though it's white, it has texture. You might be able to see it better because of the fact that it's low. And this is pretty, even though it's shallow, it's pretty deep. So I think I might go with that. And I need a little dessert fork. So let's see, I could either use the gold, which could be pretty, or have this little fork. These little vintage pieces I find in France sometimes. I think I kind of like that. I think that's a little earthier. I just find that camera, I don't know why, but the Canons, the DSLRs, are just a little bit better on the hero shots. I mean, the Sonys are great and I love them. I probably just need to know how to use them better for that kind of thing, but it's time that I just haven't spent. So for right now, I'm going with what I know, which is my DSLRs, because I'm running out of light. So I like to kind of just set up the camera before I have the thing in position, just so that when it comes right out of the oven, I'm not wasting any time. I got my scoop ready to go. I love the Zeroll ice cream scooper for food photography, just because you get like the most perfect scoop. Here it is in all its glory. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, it's so delicious. Now I just want to test it. So if I come flying in, does it mess with the focus at all? Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, but see, then I'm gonna have to fix that focus there. That's why I love the tap on the monitor focus. It's so great. Okay, now it's time for the dusting of the sugar shot. So I think maybe we'll go like this, right? Maybe I'll be a little tighter. Something like that. It might be fun to see the sugar shaker in the shot. Some foreshadowing. This could be a good moment for a hero shot. So I really like the light that's happening here. Sometimes it's nice too to have the spoon in whatever it is you're serving. I just feel like it brings a little humanness to the shot. There, okay. So while I'm a cooking channel, I'm also an entertaining channel. So I always find it's important in my hero shots to show people what the experience would be like serving it. That's always the best part, right? When you bring this dish that you spent all of this time and effort and money making, bringing it to the table and having everybody just sort of ooh and ah. That's always kind of my favorite part. Scoop this. Let's just see. I'll try to make the prettiest piece that I can. Now, for any of you looking for extra credit, this is the extra credit shot. You're gonna put the piece back in the casserole and you're going to hide it. You're gonna rinse the plate. Then you're gonna move the camera to this angle, shooting across the casserole, but now you're really favoring just the plate. All right, see, and now we are going to scoop it again from the other direction, and it'll look like you have two cameras. Here's what it looked like after it was edited. And then, of course, you need the bite shot. That's the real hero shot. That fork going into whatever it is you've just made. There is something really voyeuristic about that for the viewer. It's like they don't feel satisfied unless they see that bite shot. And this is something new. I didn't used to do this. Like when I had my crew and we were shooting 5 recipes a day, that I never really stopped down to do that. But I do see the wisdom in doing that now. I just think that there's something really satisfying on the part of the viewer to see somebody tuck into whatever the delicious thing is that you've made. Now, sometimes my husband does the bite shots. Okay, yeah, there you go. How is it? It's good, right?
I love the raisin.
I know, see, the raisins make it. This thing is so good. I know a recipe is ready for prime time when I can't stop eating it. And this is fantastic. You guys have got to try this bread pudding recipe over the holidays. It is fantastic, especially with the caramel. All right, now I need to clean this all up before my kids get home. This is kind of a mess. But hey, we'll have a yummy dessert tonight. Georgie, we got some work to do. Okay, YouTube video done. Tomorrow we shoot the blog, the Pinterest video, the TikTok, and the Instagram reel. Good morning. I'm back. Day 2. I don't know about you guys if you were exhausted watching that yesterday, but I woke up this morning and I was exhausted. I think the shoot days just really take it out of me. I don't know why. There's a lot that goes into video where I think the blog and the photography that we're going to shoot today is so much easier. But I think for me and my brand, the heart is really video. So I don't think I would ever give up the video unless I was really old and cranky. Then I might just take some pretty pictures. This is a really fabulous book. If you're looking for some education, it's called How to Photograph Food. I am taking copious notes. I'm putting my Post-its. When you learn to do something like this, you have to be a student for life, because I can't tell you how many times I've had to learn something new. Just in the 10 years, whether that be how a platform works, how SEO works, food styling, and now my big hurdle is just food photography. Like, it's been a really steep learning curve for me, but I think I can get there one day. I just think every shoot is an opportunity to get a little bit better. You learn a little bit of something. And I think there's something to be said in this business about being book smart and street smart. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of like technical know-how with photography and video. So you kind of have to read through it and understand the principles. And then you got to get out in the wild and try it, you know, like out in the field and like see what happens. And you just learn so much from your mistakes. So I'm looking at this footage last night and I see like, oh, I'm kind of overexposed. I'm not going to do that again because I learned. So there are no mistakes. Do you know what I mean? It's all part of learning. It's just a different way to learn. The mistakes are just as valuable as learning something. So when it comes to the blog, the living room is really the best lighting. It's funny, I don't shoot it in the kitchen. I shoot it in here, and I have two options. Option number one is alongside of this window. But see how bright and harsh that light is going to be at this time of day? So I'm not going to do this, but I have had shoots here where I put a table and I shoot and I go down on the food like that. Or I'm going to come over here. This is another table that works really well because I have a big window here. I have this table. Sometimes I even like to use the wood surface of the table. I move this furniture out of the way, and it really does work out well for the short form videos as well as the photography. So the first thing I need to do is get everything in order. Have you guys seen this new cookbook? Oh my gosh, Preppy Kitchen. Is he not fabulous? You got to check out his new cookbook. It's so great. I just got it and I'm really enjoying it. Way to go, John. So I've got the camera set up. I've got my table ready to go. I've got my little mascot here keeping me company, right, George? And now the next thing I do is I pick a background. So these are really great. These are these boards that you can get. I'll leave you a link in the description, just for food photography. Because sometimes the table you're working with isn't what you want. I never really use this one, but it came on the back of this one, which I do use. So it is really nice to get the ones that are double-sided, because then you just have options and you don't have to store as much. I typically will use this little blue one a lot, or this white one is good too. They're just better because it's easier to control the light on a table like that than to have to shoot in the kitchen, which the lighting just isn't as great. I think I'm gonna go dark. Let's give it a try. The nice thing is you can always change it if you don't like it, right? There we go. The boards are fun because they can convey a mood, and sometimes depending on what the color of your food is will dictate what type of board you need to have. So for this recipe, the bread pudding is white, the ice cream is white, the batter is white, so I kind of needed a little bit of contrast under everything so that the food would pop and not get lost. So sometimes it's good to have a couple of different boards, dark shades and light shades, just knowing that food can fall into those two different categories. These boards also work for the little short form videos I do. So right now I'm posting to Instagram Reels, Pinterest, and TikTok. I can pretty much shoot the still photos and do the video at the same time. That's easier. I've tried in the past to do it all in one day, and that turns out to be such a mess. Because I end up forgetting to shoot certain parts. Everything's kind of really complicated and confusing because I'm switching back and forth between all of these different scenes. So I have figured out that when I'm shooting YouTube, I can only shoot YouTube. And when I'm shooting the blog, I can make room for these little short form videos. So that's how I'm doing it now. And then when I'm shooting the videos and the blog at the same time, I just go in the order of the recipe. So I start with my ingredients shot because I can get that for the blog, and then I also need it for the video. So I got my little scene here, and I am going to switch it to still and take some stills. So I shoot all of my short form videos on my phone. I recently upgraded to the iPhone 13 and I love the camera. The quality is great. And it's just easier to shoot on your phone because then all the footage is on your phone. You can edit it on your phone. I use a really great app called InShot, which is super easy to use. And then all you have to do is upload it to the platform. So everything is on the phone. All right, so I am all set up here, ready to go. I have got a graveyard of gadgets that did not work, but these two I find are the best. One is this tripod thing that will connect onto a tabletop, and it's adjustable, and then you put your phone inside, and then it has an arm that reaches out over your board. That is super easy to use, and I love it because you can see what you're doing while it's filming. See, it's kind of cool. You can just look to see what needs to be adjusted, and as you're looking, you can move things in and out. It may not be perfect, and you can kind of crop in or fix it in post, which that's always an option too. Now, another handy little gadget that I do love is this thing. This is called the Gimbowl. It's so handy, it's so compact, and you can put it this way if you want your phone to go vertical, or you can go this way if you want your phone to go horizontal. I use it for all my vlogs, and I also use it for these videos. All right, so I'm rolling on my phone. I'm just going to rip this apart like we did yesterday. But see, this is the part that I have to shoot in real time so that I have the footage to then speed up in post. So when this is actually the final video, this will get all sped up. But you have to actually go through this process of doing it. But that's okay, I have to do it anyway for the recipe, so there you go. Okay, we're all set up for the hero. Got my sugar, my plate. I'm gonna put my pan right here. Now I am just going to clean up a little bit because this little process makes such a mess. I will not lie, oh my gosh. By the time you're pulling out all the linens and the props and you've got dishes and George is looking for snacks. He's part of the cleanup crew. No, don't go in the dishwasher, sweetheart. No, no, no. You just have to resign yourself to the fact that the days that you are shooting is when your house is going to be a big mess. You can clean it up later. But I'm always happy once it's done. And if I feel like I put in a good day's work and I'm looking at a huge mess and I feel like I really did my best and I felt like I got some good content, then it's totally worth it. And believe it or not, we're only halfway there. We still need to edit this video.
No, this will take me a full day. But I'll have a finished video at the end of the day. I'll have all my A-roll, my B-roll, my music, my graphics. Everything will be polished and ready to go, and then I'm done. I have found, after doing this for a number of years, it is better to just settle in and be done with it in a day than to string it out over a week, because there's something about concentration. Editing takes an enormous amount of concentration, and you don't want to stop and start. And there's even been studies about this, that it takes a certain amount of focus to get back up to speed, to find your place and where you were. And that's why they say interruption is the enemy of creativity, because you can be really in the zone, someone interrupts you, and it could take up to, I've read, I think an hour to get back into the zone of where you were. So I find just get that one day during the week, for me it's Thursdays, that you just know you are not doing anything else until your video is edited and ready to go. And I think that works out perfectly.
So to begin, you're gonna need anywhere from 6 to 8 croissants. And it can be a little cringy in the beginning. It can just be hard to kind of watch yourself for 8 hours a day as you're editing it. You'll just pick up on every little quirk you have, so try not to let it get to you. Just be kind and gentle to yourself. Take a break if you need to. Once it's good to go, it's time to upload it to YouTube. I always get excited, even 10 years later, every time I launch a video. I'm excited to share the recipe. I'm excited for you guys to try it. And not all videos are gonna perform the same way. It can be a real trap to get into competing with other channels that you see, even for the same recipes. Why did their video do better? Why is your video not getting any views? You just cannot go down that road. It can be very tempting. But I think the best person that you can compete with week after week is yourself. Did you do better than last week? Does the video look better? Did you learn something? Do you feel like it's getting easier? Those are all the really good things to keep an eye on. Years ago, I was at VidCon and I sat in the audience with probably about 200 other people and listened to John Green give closing remarks, and he said something that I will always remember and has really been my guiding principle. And that is, And John, if you ever watch this video and I misquoted you in some way, I'm sorry, but this is how I remembered you said it. And you said, it doesn't matter how many people see what you do, it's how much they love what you do. And that has always been my guiding principle. So there will always be channels bigger than mine, there will always be channels smaller than mine. But as long as people still love what I'm doing, I will be here showing up week after week. All right, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you're one of those people that is launching a channel this year, I want to see it. Once you get your first video up, drop the link in the comments. We all want to see what you're working on, and we will root you on as well. If I can do it, you can do it. All right, you guys, and I will see you back here next time. Thank you so much for an amazing 10 years. And here's to the next 10 years. I think I feel a cookbook in my future, right? It's time for a cookbook. Something I'm working on. All right, you guys, we'll see you back here next time. Until then, bye.